Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Big Freaking Friday Show on the College Football Mafia channel. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. With me are my partners, guys I go to war with every week, and I appreciate both of them so much. That would be the Wild Ute and Moen. How we doing tonight, guys?
Let's go.
Doing well. Doing well.
Doing well. You got the white hat on, chillaxing. Who does Ohio State play this week?
Rutgers.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
fine.
gosh. That's why he's so
That's
relaxed. Yep.
I wonder if Ute is nervous at all. Playing at home against a K-State team that is hungry. I think Utah puts them away early. But if you guys go into the third quarter and it's close, or you get a little anxious.
You know, the Utes are out on the outside looking in for the playoff, right? So
Yeah.
I know what Utah does historically is they play great in this type of situation. If Utah was clearly in the playoffs, I'd be biting my fingernails. But
Is that right?
yeah, they're outside looking in. They're going to thump K-State. That's just how they are. So I'm not really too nervous. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Let's really quick, the elephant in the room, some ambiguous statements from Kyle Whittingham this week. Asked directly by a reporter, which hasn't happened throughout his career. He's intimidated of reporters up and down the Wasatch Front. But somebody finally asked him, is this his last home game? And he turned around and said, if it is, you won't see me out here again. I'll put in a press release and I'll be gone. So what do you think about that? I know it's been 3 years of tough fandom to be a Utah fan. Yeah, is it kind of bittersweet?
Definitely bittersweet. Kyle Whittingham's beloved in youth circles. You know, I love him. He's
Yes.
one of my favorite coaches of all time, maybe my favorite coach of all time. Look, it's been expected for like 5 years, his retirement.
has.
So it's no surprise. It's like day to day. And if he wants to wind it up after this really good season, then I think that's fine. I think that everyone could be happy with that. And the program's in good shape with Morgan Scalley. So I think it'd be an easy transition. If he wants to stay, it could get a little spicy, though. Because, I mean, really the donor support, the booster support, Whittingham's winning right now, so it's good. And there's a lot of money backing Morgan Scalley, who is the coach in waiting. But if Whittingham stays around for another couple of years, that could be at risk, and Morgan Scalley could maybe jump. And so it's almost more risky for Kyle to stay another year than
I agree
right
with
off
you.
in the sunset. So it's bittersweet. A lot of thoughts. I think it's probably his last home game. I think he's going to retire after the season, personally.
Do you? You think this is it? It's finally the swan song. Okay.
We shall see.
Moen,
we shall see.
You had one chance to play against Utah, a gritty Utah team that made it to the Rose Bowl season, even though it had been a dogfight, even qualifying to get to the championship game. If this is his last home game, thoughts about Kyle Whittingham?
Yeah, he's a great coach, and Urban Meyer obviously saw something in him, and
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. I mean, he picked up the hammer and went to work, and he went to a couple Rose Bowls. He never won a Rose Bowl,
no,
but he went to a couple Rose Bowls.
Hey, getting there is an achievement.
He did win a Sugar Bowl.
His greatest achievement's the 2008 Sugar Bowl with the undefeated season. That really is. Like, that gets forgotten, completely forgotten because of the Pac-12 days and the Rose Bowl games. But that's his biggest win is Bama the Sugar Bowl.
And it was so long ago. The people that rightfully remember are the Utah fans, but you know, it's a what have you done for me lately, especially with the CFP. So people forget how good these coaches have been in the past. But I'm not saying he's going to retire. He hasn't come out and said he was going to, but he just said that he wasn't going to come out and say he's not going to either. So if it is, I say Utah fans enjoy it. If it's not, you're going to have conversations about Morgan Scalley this offseason. I don't know if he's willing to stick around another year.
That's the scary thing. That's the biggest risk of all. You cannot lose Morgan Scalley. No, you cannot. You're in big trouble if that happens. So, again, it's preferable that he does retire and Morgan Scalley takes over with the program in a good spot versus like going into next season with Whittingham and having a bad year and getting forced out.
Could you imagine how bad that could get? That could get really, really bad.
Seems like now's the time, right? It's now.
And who knows? They could, Utah could backdoor it in, especially when you have games still ahead of them. The one that's front and center is that BYU Cincinnati game. We're going to break that down when we do our picks. But this is 3 big games this year that BYU's been in all 3. And he's the only one in the Big 12. They're the only ones in the Big 12 that have been in College Game Day and 2 Fox noons. So I think that's an achievement. But Cincinnati, they have to be pretty proud of where they're at, right, Mullen?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Absolutely. I mean, look, I may be in Cincinnati tomorrow. I may be at that game.
Really?
I may be rooting against BYU.
Well,
so.
I understand.
Oh, no, you're going to Cincy? You're going to Nippert?
I'm going to Nippert Stadium tomorrow.
That sounds fun.
Wow.
Well, you have to come back and give us a report for sure.
I will do that, especially if Cincinnati wins.
Okay, there you go. I won't be anywhere near a computer if they lose. So,
Mona, why don't you paint like the college football mafia on your chest and come out to the game and stuff so it can catch you on TV?
Yes,
no, I'm far too white to catch on TV. It's actually blinding when I take my shirt off.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, headlines. So the CFP we're going to break down a little bit later in the show, but there's been other news this week. Has there been any story for each of you guys that really stood out to you this week? I guess maybe the UC investment for Big Ten sort of falling apart, Mullen.
I think that stands out more that the Board of Regents of the University of Michigan are political creatures. Ward Manuel did an interview today. Greg Pflugar turned me on to it. Pretty obvious Ward Manuel wanted this deal to go through. And pretty obvious that he came out and said Michigan's not leaving the Big Ten. Where would we go? So
isn't he unemployed right now?
Yeah, I was going to say he's not at the university anymore, is he?
Ward Manuel is, yeah.
I thought he retired.
Yeah, who's the president that didn't get the Florida job?
That's Santa Ono.
Oh, I thought he was gone. I thought he'd left.
Ward Manuel's the AD at Michigan. So
still, okay.
Yeah, so it was an interesting interview. Follow Greg on Twitter. Greg posted it. He posted the exact timestamps as well.
Okay.
It is what it is, but we'll see. I still think one of these deals is going to get done. I still think it's probably going to end up being with UC Investments. There's probably going to be some kind of changes to clarify and make Jordan Acker somehow satisfied. I don't know how they do that, if they endorse him for governor or senator or whatever office he's running for next, or maybe just put up some billboards because the guy loves attention.
There you go. Ricky Tungate, $5 super chat right out the gate. Good to have you here, Ricky. Ricky's a long-standing member of the College Football Mafia family, and the way you know that is that little S next to his name right there. That's something that we really are proud of having memberships like Ricky around. And if you want to become a member, just click the $ next to the comment box, and you can become a member too. You know why Moen is going to the game is for more Skyline chili. Only kidding, Moen.
Here you go, Ricky. Here's a little bit of the Cincinnati fight song. And no chili.
There you go. Raw, raw, raw. All for that. Thank you so much, Ricky. I'm sure Indiana wanted that deal done too. So we'll have to find out. It's not for sure that it's completely dead. It's on pause, but it doesn't look good. How about you, Ute? Lots of news out this week, even some late afternoon Friday news dump type articles. Anything stand out to you?
The two are Lane Kiffin and his indecision right now if he's staying on Ole Miss, and then this UC Investments. This UC Investments it's just huge news. Because Moan, like it or not and stuff, it just shows like the crack in the Big Ten, right? Like, again. I mean, Moan, no, like I mean, like see, I know you're a Big Ten guy, but like looking outside, like the Big Ten was supposed to be like ironclad, right? That was always the thing.
Right.
It's like
A crack
everyone
in the
votes
Big
That's
Ten.
what
together.
we've kept hearing from Moen, certainly.
But again, a crack in the Big Ten. People act like this is some major fracture. These are two Board of Regents people who obviously love smelling their own farts. So,
nice.
And then the USC situation, which I don't want to get too much into the USC situation because I'm going to do a members only video on it on the information I have on USC. But
Okay.
like I said, that interview with Ward Manuel shows you that there are people at the University of Michigan who were very much for this deal, enjoyed this deal. Jordan Acker didn't like it, but Jordan Acker doesn't like anything. So,
Okay.
if Jordan Acker was an ice cream flavor, it'd be pickles and dick. So,
I did have a couple of news items that just popped up to this evening. First one is that there's another lawsuit, an actual new lawsuit challenging the JUCO rule, the 5-year eligibility rule. And they're going back in for more. So they lost the first one, but it didn't get rid of it. It just gave Diego Pavia his 1 year back. They're suing again to kill the entire thing for the entire country. So that's a big deal that they've reinvested in that lawsuit enough. Another class action to attack that thing. I think that's a really big deal. Another thing that sort of came out this afternoon, and I just lost my bookmark. Hang on, sorry. Is this it? No. Oh, the gambling. Thank you. I was having a hard time reading it. The gambling rule that was announced, what was that, 2 weeks ago? That we were told it was going to be legal. Legal. I don't know how, but the legal part of it, but against the NCAA rules, it was originally to go against they would enforce gambling. Iowa ran into trouble. Iowa State has run into trouble. It's been all over. They rescinded that rule, and everybody thought it was done. It actually came up again today, and it was voted down unanimously almost. PR was heavily against it after it had been announced the first time. So it is now back against the rules to gamble, which, I mean, it's bad either way. Gambling's everywhere. But I thought that was a stupid rule to even try to change. What do you guys think about that one?
Yes, I'm just trying to understand this a little bit. So they were trying to not allow gambling in the sports world, and now they're reallowing it. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's the reverse. It had been disallowed. They voted. I don't know who the votes were because everybody's now against it, but it had been announced that it had been voted and was going to go through that you could gamble if you're an athlete. Right now, you can't. So the rule was supposed to go into action. It had to go to a full
when athletes
vote.
are gambling a bunch. I mean,
That's what I said.
This is simple stuff. It's simple stuff.
I think so. It was kind of a stupid thing to even try to make legal. Or, legal's not the right word, against the rules for eligibility and stuff. Moen, do you have an opinion about this one?
I think as long as you prevent prop bets in college football, I think it's okay. You're going to bet on pro football. If they want to bet, it's their money. They're 18 years old, and if it's legal in the state they live in, they should be allowed to do it.
Even if they're athletes?
Even if they're athletes.
No.
But they're not saying you can bet on college games. They're saying you can bet on pro games.
It's a slippery slope, Moen. How hard is it to
just alcohol.
change?
Alcohol is a slippery slope too, but we're not going to stop 21-year-old athletes from drinking alcohol. We're not going to stop 19-year-old athletes.
Does alcohol attack the veracity of the games? Does alcohol make it difficult so that the temptation is there to bet against your school?
Addiction could be. You can't bet against your school. That's the thing.
Again, you're assuming.
If you're caught betting on college sports, you become ineligible. The thing they were saying is you can bet on pro sports like NFL and
I understand
NBA, MLB. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm a little bit of a libertarian in that regard. 18 years old, you're allowed to do what you want to do.
Sounds good to me. That's why I asked your opinion. Okay, let's get to our picks. Last week, as we go through these, again, I did not look at anybody else's picks when I made mine, but last week I went 5-5 again, and Gygax extended his lead. This is becoming almost insurmountable unless he loses it this week for some reason. Even if he does, most of us have picked the games he's picked for the winners anyway. So I think at this point, guys, it may be over.
We still have 2 more weeks. We have this and we have championship week.
Yeah.
But Gygax would really need to like lose every single game.
He would.
And somebody like me.
Maybe next week I'll pick against. I'll see what his picks are, and I'll just take the opposite no matter what.
Yeah, this is FCS week in SEC. So,
man. Yeah, it's brutal. Anyway, so Daniel Gygax, congratulations. Everybody else sucks and is middling. I mean, I'm 10 games over 500. Last year I was 14 or 13 games over 500, and then you guys started to close the gap on me, Moen, but I don't see how in 2 weeks plus the playoffs we're going to be able to catch him. I can't see that.
Statistically, it's possible.
Right.
Realistically, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So good job, Daniel. Well done. Let's jump right in because I know we want to get to the CFP and the UC investment stories at the later end of the show. So, and Ute has to leave in 45 minutes. So let's try to get through these. Louisville plus 2.5 at SMU. I took the Cardinals. I just don't believe in SMU this particular year. You guys both took SMU.
Yeah, Louisville's kind of cold right now. SMU is kind of hot right now. And SMU's got a weird logo too. Like, look at this logo.
It is a weird logo.
Right, this pony right here. So, for that reason, you're at SMU. One team's hot, one team's not. I don't think any of them are really that special. Give me SMU, the home team, to win by 3 points or more.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em as far as I'm concerned. SMU's at home, so I'm going to give them the home field advantage, and I'm taking SMU. And I also put money on it, so you know that's. I also just lost money on it, probably.
Okay. That didn't go real deep. Here's another one that's not going to go real deep. Miami's giving 17.5 to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has a new coach, James Franklin, in the house. That's a story that everybody probably knows by now, so I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on it. But in my opinion, that's a fantastic pickup. A coach for Virginia Tech. They did a great job. 17.5. I took Miami. You took Miami. And then Virginia Tech again was Moen. That's 2 strangely against Daniel. I'm starting to see a trend here.
I didn't even notice that. But what I did notice was 17.5 points. I think Virginia Tech's going to be, even though James Franklin's not on the sidelines yet, I think those Virginia Tech players are going to be reinvigorated. I think they're going to go out there, and I think they're only going to lose by 2 touchdowns.
Momentum from James Franklin hiring. I like that, Moen. I think you're right about that. Miami can't afford a close game.
No,
Miami can't afford a 10-point game, a 14-point game.
Nope.
They need to blitz the house out of Virginia Tech to be in the playoff discussion.
Yes.
That is why, I'm taking 17.5, 100%. Like, Miami has to win by more than that, or else they're basically eliminated.
I agree
they're the same
with you.
They're with Utah. Like, you've got a close win is a loss.
A 10-2 Miami team that doesn't do special things the last 2 weeks of the season probably is not going to make the playoff. So that's something that has to be a big number. 20, 24 points. I don't know. You and I are looking at it the exact same way. Plus, the Virginia Tech team is why haven't they quit at this point? I get the impressing James Franklin, but we saw with Dion when he came in, Louis Vuitton luggage and everything. He's going to come in and want to bring in his own players. Even potential transfers from Penn State. So I don't know that there's much the players can do at this point either. It's a good point though. I hadn't thought of that. Missouri, let's see, is that plus 7.5, Moen? Yep. So Oklahoma's at home. I took Missouri in the points, and that is the reason I took them. What about you, Ute?
It's just coming off the big win at Alabama, an emotional win, a
Oklahoma, you're
physical
talking about.
win. Yeah, Oklahoma winning
Yep.
at Alabama. I just think that Missouri, there's a little bit of juice there. There's a little bit of history. I think Missouri gives them a game. Unfortunately, I think Alabama pulls it out, but I think it's going to be by a touchdown and not 7.5.
Moen?
Yeah, Oklahoma, not Alabama. Oklahoma pulls this out, and I think they pull it out by 14 points because, again, Oklahoma, they're on the inside track to get one of those 5 playoff spots for the SEC.
They
But
are.
they've got to make sure that they continue to win and look impressive. And I
Yes.
think they're going to continue to do that. And I think they win by 10.
Oklahoma is one of the schools that BYU and Utah need to lose desperately.
Yeah.
And I love Oklahoma. You guys know that. I'm not a Missouri fan, but yeah, desperately need Oklahoma to lose. Okay, Wazoo, getting 13.5 at James Madison. James Madison is trying to turn people's heads to potentially get that group of 6 entry into the CFP. Wazoo is on the road, and they've been particularly dogged on the road this year. So that's 14 points, and I don't know if James Madison can hold up for a full 60 minutes. So that's why I took Washington State. What about you, Ute?
I can't believe how disrespectful this is to Wazoo. You're 2 touchdown underdogs to JMU. Man, that is a sobering thing to look at and say and think about. I hope they play, and I hope they play them tight. I hope they win this football game because Wazoo should never be losing to JMU ever. And
yeah,
I don't want to see this for that program.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're so upset. It's 2 G6 programs playing against each other. So
it's not being upset necessarily. It's just it's the reality that it's stark. That's all.
JMU is going to be competing for that playoff spot for the G6 candidacy. I think they're going to go out here, and I think they're going to run the ball down their throat.
Okay.
I think JMU wins by like 21 to 24 points.
Okay. All right. And that conspiracy that Moen was picking the same as Daniel, go away, because he picked Oklahoma and JMU, and so did Daniel. So we were just having fun there, Daniel. I go out of my way not to look at your picks, though. And then the last one is Michigan 13.5, giving up 13.5 to Maryland. For the first time maybe ever, I'm going to take Maryland and the points.
Wow, why?
No other reason, just the points. Yeah, just the
points. I've got a solid reason.
Go ahead, tell us.
Right here. Listen, no.
Ooh.
Michigan on the road has struggled to cover. Again, last week they did not cover on the road at Northwestern. So, look, Michigan may win this game, but they may win by 10. I don't know what they're just a bipolar team, completely different team at home versus on the road. I don't think they cover.
It's a lot of points, really.
It's 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think Michigan gets it done by more than 2 touchdowns. They need to get hot here before this Ohio State game next week. Because if Michigan wins this game and beats Ohio State, they're in the playoff 100%. They're going to jump everybody and get in. I think everybody realizes that, and this is the ramp-up game for it. I think they put it on the Terrapins.
Next week, I'm going to be the biggest fan of Ohio State. The biggest fan of Ohio State.
We will all be Ohio State fans.
We cannot have Michigan win.
Yeah.
So
if Michigan jumped all the Big 12 teams other than Texas Tech.
Yeah, that would happen too. That would absolutely happen. So, yeah, we need to not go for that. So next week, Moen, we're all going to pick that game, but you and I are going to be picking with you. I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The second half of our picks, Utah's giving 17.5 to K-State. I thought it was in Salt Lake. It's actually in Kansas City.
No, this is in Salt Lake.
That's what it's just reversed. It just says
I reversed it.
It doesn't matter. So it's at Utah. I took K-State and the points. Kind of picking a little against the Utes this week, but you guys both took Utah.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident going into this game. K-State has had massive injuries, especially on the offensive line. Discussions say that they can't even field like a practice team to play like on. That's how bad the depth is right now on their line play. Utah is going to absolutely guys. They're gonna run the ball 100 times on them.
Yeah, probably.
I think it could get ugly quick. Take Utah big.
Yeah,
Moen?
I agree. First team, or what is it? Second team out right now.
Yeah,
you got to run up the score. You got to run up the score. So
yep.
I think Utah is definitely going to try and do that, and this could end up being like a 49-3 game.
Yeah.
I think the Cats are going to score a little bit. Like I'm kind of thinking more 38 to like 17.
Yeah,
I guess like something like that, but beating the spread.
Yeah, 38-17 though. That would be bad for Utah.
38-17 is 21.
It's 21 points. I think you need to. You guys have been averaging beatdowns by like 35-40.
Yeah, you need to run that score up.
Moen, how many points do the Utes need to win this game by for like serious
35?
Contention? 35 points.
35.
Oof. I don't think you're going to get 35 against Kansas State, but I don't know. You run the ball 100 times, you've won by 60. So if they are able to control the clock that long, games aren't long enough anymore to score. It would be anyway. We don't know. We know K-State is down. They're hurt big time. All I did was take the points. That was it. Pitt is getting 2.5 at Georgia Tech. We all took Tech. Can anybody justify a Pitt pick here?
Yeah, I can. I can. Because every single time we've picked across the board, it seems, we've all lost.
Have we really? Okay.
We lost last week.
Sorry, Georgia Tech.
Last week we all picked Alabama. Oklahoma won. So that's the only way I can justify it.
And if it happens again, now we've got a trend, everybody.
Yeah, and if it happens again next week, everybody's picking Michigan.
No, that's still not true. My rooting interests have to be all aligned. BYU is giving 2.5. That point spread should be much bigger. BYU wins by 10 plus. I know Cincinnati's had a good season. This BYU, this is a different team. So you took the Cougars.
Yeah, I mean the Utes need the Cougs to lose, right? And so
there's
all the incentive in the world to try to get Cincy to boost, but I just can't see any way the Cougars don't win this game by 10 points or more. Like defense is elite. It travels. Cincinnati's on a 2-game losing streak. Got blown out by Utah. They're going to get ran so hard, just like Utah did. It's this game, in my view. 2.5 points is the most disrespectful thing
It is. Even Joel Klatt said that today. Yeah, he said the same thing.
I can't believe it. Like it should be about 9.5. I can't believe 2.5.
Wow, I said the exact same thing today. That's fantastic. Yeah, I agree with you. 10 points.
And like they're in the Cougs. Like, look, the Cougs, I really think are going to win this game by a lot of points. But if the Cougs lose this game, this might be the worst loss in BYU history.
I would agree with that.
You have to win this game.
I agree with you.
This is massive.
Yep.
And so I think they get it done, though. I do. Although Moen's going to be there. Moen's going to be cheering with the Cincinnati.
And he, of course, right on time, he picks Cincinnati Bearcats to beat my Cougars.
Listen, 2.5 points. Vegas knows something. And I think BYU, I think they could easily fall into a trap at Nippert Stadium at night.
Night
game. Mormon vampires don't exist east of the Mississippi, though.
That's not true.
It's true.
No, their night games.
It's
their
in
night
the
games
folklore.
Are good. It's universal night games.
No, it's folklore.
Don't play night game against BYU. I'm just saying.
Cincinnati Bearcats, this is a trap game for BYU. I think they definitely know they need to get there. I think maybe something happens early on and they panic. And give me Cincinnati. And I'll be there cheering on the Bearcats.
All right. That sounds great. Let's see. By the way, I'm glad you picked against them.
I
Moen,
know.
thank you for that. Harvard giving 8.5 to Yale. I don't know anything about either of these teams, so I saw 8.5. And I was like, yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, Buckshot Kid is the one who suggested we pick
Is that
this
right?
game.
I love
Yes,
it. I love it.
Buckshot
This is
Kid wanted
great.
it, so we put it on here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about either of these teams either, but I'm going Harvard because I don't like block Y's.
Yeah, I bet you don't. How about you? You took the Y?
Yeah, I mean, I like Yale more than Harvard, so I'm just picking Yale because I like Yale more than Harvard.
I kind of do too. Yeah.
So that's the only reason. Like I can't name one player in either one of these teams. So
I didn't even know they were still playing football.
Can you guys here's a question. Can you guys name where the campuses are located for Yale and Harvard?
Harvard's Cambridge, right?
Harvard, yeah, like it's in Boston, right?
Oh, Boston. Okay.
But where's Yale?
I don't know.
I think Bomber's right. It's Cambridge, Massachusetts.
I thought it was Cambridge, but
I believe that's like the outskirts of Boston, though, right?
Sure, it's the outskirts, but it's actually
we're both
in
right.
Cambridge.
Yeah, I was just saying. I thought it was Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Yale is close by.
New York.
Where is Yale? Does anybody?
I don't know.
Yale's
know.
in
Connecticut.
New Haven.
Connecticut. New Haven is okay for Yale and Cambridge.
Honestly, all I know is Ryan Fitzpatrick played at Harvard, and so I'm going to take Harvard.
Okay, that's fair. That's as good a reason as any to pick them. And then the game of really outside of the games that we all three. By the way, Ohio State's not on your one.
Well, I'm not going to put Ohio State Rutgers on here.
Okay. This is the biggest game of the week, actually.
Yes.
The Oklahoma game's big, the BYU Cincinnati game, but this is the biggest one of all the games this weekend. USC and Oregon, and I think USC can win this game. It's going to be difficult, but they're getting 9.5. I talk about disrespectful. I think they're 8-2. They're not a bad team. So I think talk about trap games. I think Oregon could get caught a little bit here.
I just don't see that. This is at Autzen Stadium.
It is. But Indiana took them to school at home.
Yeah, that's the only loss for Oregon this whole season.
Yeah, but at home.
That's a shocking game. I guess still a shocking result. I've seen Oregon play too many times at Autzen. Things get away quickly at Autzen. And USC's got a really good offense, but the defense, not so much. Oregon, I think, has the better team. They're in the home. They need this game because I'll tell you what, guys, whoever wins this game is probably in the playoff, and whoever loses is out, in my view.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely whoever loses is out. I'm still not sure USC gets enough of a bump.
I do. I think so, man. I think they jump into Oregon's spot.
No, Oregon's at like 7 or something. They're not going to jump to 7.
USC jumps like that. I really do. I think Oregon jumps to outside and looking in. And
definitely Oregon would be out. Yeah.
And then, so this is a CFP eliminator and a playing game, in my view.
I agree. And then Washington has Oregon next week. So they can't look at this game and say, we'll just go full bore here, but not worry about next weekend. I mean, they got to have their eye on the prize. So, yeah. Okay. Moen, how about you?
Dan Lanning's going to have the Ducks ready.
Okay.
Dan Lanning, I think he's the superior coach between him and Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley can produce Heisman Trophy winners, but he can produce Heisman Trophy winners. Congratulations.
Yeah,
I think the Ducks roll them hard. I think they give a balanced attack. I think they've got a better running game than USC does. I could see Oregon winning by 17 to 21 points.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I agree with you. This is and maybe you said it too, Moen. This is a playoff eliminator. Whoever loses this game is going to be out of the playoff. There's too many other teams fighting with 2 losses. I saw somebody today, and I didn't bookmark it. I looked for it, and I couldn't find it again. I did comment on it, so it's somewhere out there. But the list might have been Joel Klatt. The list of undefeated to 9-3 teams, actually to the 10-2 projected outcomes was like 15 schools. 10-2 is now going to be the new 9-3, and it's going to be absolutely crazy because of these disjointed schedules. There's so much time you're not playing against teams that actually can beat you. That these unbalanced schedules are just leading to more and more teams with the same records at the end of the season. And I'm not talking about 9-4 at the end of the season. I'm talking 10-2 versus 10-2 all the way down 13-14 deep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really insane.
A lot of these teams are going to be playing in the title game. Only 2 teams in an 18-team conference are playing in the title game.
Yeah, of each conference. You're right. Yes.
Like 16 or 18. So there's just not as many opportunities for a loss at the end of the season. So you're going to see a lot of 10-3, 10-2, and 9-3 records.
Yep.
And then it's like the beauty pageant, right?
It is.
Lipstick on and everything, and trying to flaunt and blow out teams. And again, this game, like you watch USC, if they win this game, they will jump in like 7 or 8 spot.
It's
serious.
possible.
They're going to jump all of us, man.
And
Oregon's going to, and the problem with that is Oregon's actually going to be in contention for that final playoff spot too. I think they get left out.
Yeah, they're
dangerous territory, especially for Big 12 if USC wins this game, big time.
Oregon is, by the metrics, and I'm talking about real metrics, ESPN plus everything that is out there. Oregon is like 3 or 4 ranks overrated. And it's because they haven't beat another team. Their biggest win is an unranked Iowa. So if there's any paper Tigers, no, at the time they were, but they're not now. They were at the tail end. They were like 23 or something when they beat them. The point is, they're not in the rankings now. And those things at the end of the season, you're going to look back and say, okay, that team was overrated. That team was overrated. Because they did, again, unbalanced schedules. They didn't play anybody by the end of the season. Now, they do play Washington next week. That'll help bring up their rating. But UCLA is not going to help USC. So if USC wins this, they may jump just ahead, but I could see them getting passed up at the final poll too. So I don't know. It's just a mess, and
it is a mess. Like one of the things that I struggle with too is like, so Oregon beat Penn State when they're number 2 in the nation, and now everything says a junk loss. But at that time, Penn State was really a legit number 2,
and they're still getting credit for it. They're still getting credit for that.
When you're reviewing wins and losses and stuff, of course, like you hand a team a loss, they're going to probably be out of the rankings if they're 15 or beyond, right? That's just they're eating another loss and getting a win.
Yeah.
It seems like we need to have a different lens on like how we look at games with wins and losses, right? Like it needs to be considered, what was the ranking at the time of the game and obviously at the end of the season too? Maybe a blend of the two.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of times people just forget and say, oh, Oregon hasn't played anybody. They played Penn State, beat Penn State in double overtime and Happy Valley. And they ruined and they spiraled Penn State out of control.
They did. They broke them.
So,
yep.
I think Oregon's a really good team.
We will really quick. Thank you, by the way, for everybody that helped do picks with us. They're a lot of fun, and we certainly enjoy them on our Friday night shows. Let's jump to the CFP. I covered this on the show Tuesday night. There wasn't really any change in the front, but just a couple things to be called out. Oregon, like I said, analytics does not like Oregon. People voting like Oregon. So Oregon's a little bit overrated. Oklahoma beating Texas insulated them. The only way they drop out now is if they lose, and then Texas and Oklahoma could both be 10-2, whatever the final would be for the season. They'd only have 2 losses, but potentially out of the playoff. With 2 losses, I'm saying Oklahoma would be out. Notre Dame's sitting there. They don't have to play anybody. And they're continue to be the biggest frauds in this whole thing because they don't really have to play anybody at the end of the season either to keep their position. So they're at 9. They went up for doing nothing. Alabama dropped, but didn't drop far enough for Ute and I. They only dropped to 10. And that's the first spot out. So BYU and Utah followed that up. And desperately, if we look in this week's games, there's really not a bunch that we can focus on for potential losses. Ohio State doesn't play anybody. Indiana doesn't play anybody. Texas A&M is playing Sanford or something. Georgia is playing Sanford Sisters. Texas Tech has a game, but I don't even
They've
think
got a
that
bye.
matters.
They're on bye.
Oh, this is their bye week. That's right. I forgot. These late week 2 buys, that's weird.
So weird.
Let's see here. Ole Miss, who do they play this week?
They're on bye. I think they're on bye this week, and then they've got Egg Bowl next week.
Right, and then the Lane Kiffin thing, who knows how that's going to turn out by the end of next week. Oregon, we just spoke about. Oklahoma, we talked about. Notre Dame, we spoke about. Alabama. BYU is fighting, and they have to go out and win this game tomorrow. There's no other way to put it. Utah, I don't think anybody's questioning whether they win, but it's how many points can they win by. Then we get to more controversy. Miami went up. Has gone up 5 votes or 5 spots in the last 2 weeks. They're now sitting at 13. But then again, they don't have any games to help them near the end of the season. They don't have anybody they can beat to really boost them. They need help to get to the ACC championship game. So Miami's sitting there. They're getting a lot of publicity. There is an outside chance that publicity pays off. The ACC is now backing up Miami. This is where I want this conversation to go. BYU and Utah have a conference commissioner that's not doing anything to help the conference. And I'm not going to bring up the quote, but essentially Brett Yormark said after these came out, he was happy that the Big 12 is represented in the top ranks. He didn't talk about them being in the playoff at all. And he said, this is our plan all along. So his 5-11, 5-7 plan is to let the Big 12 not get that second spot guaranteed and be relegated to a 1-bid league for the next 4 years. Right, Ute? Am I saying? I mean, it's incredible how bad he's walked away.
It's just like the ACC commissioner and stuff, where he's not fighting, like publicly fighting for teams to get in. Sankey doesn't do that. Sankey fights for every freaking SEC. He wants all 12 teams, like the SEC teams, if he could get it, right? And he publicly says that. He puts the pressure on. Yormark seems to be capitulating and just being okay with it. Behind the scenes, I'm sure it's not that way. But publicly, I want to see kicking. I want to see screaming. I want to see yelling. I want to see the ugliest crying ever from Yormark saying, get these teams in. This is a travesty. We're not saying it. And we're likely to see one Big 12 team get in the playoff again, which is disgusting for how good some of these teams are, guys. It's freaking disgusting.
Yes.
And like with getting 5 or 6 SEC no, never, ever, ever. It's disgusting. It makes me so upset. Yormark better be on the phone with everybody. He better be on Fox, on TNT, screaming that this is a travesty. What's the repercussions of this? Because, guys, this is a fully loaded system right here. You've got a playoff that's sponsored, and every ESPN does everything for this thing. They have a TV contract with the SEC. Of course, they have an incentive, collusion incentive to put their own freaking teams in. You better fight that crap. You better fight that narrative. I can't stand this. I can't stand sitting back and just being okay with it like a freaking puppet. Looks like Jim Phillips out there. Get off, go out there, start petitioning for these teams. Get 2 teams at least in this playoff.
Moen, you're a third party watching this.
Well, here's my point. One, you can't use the SEC contract as a narrative because they also have an ACC contract. Why wouldn't they put Miami in over both Utah and BYU?
They did start to do that this week.
The ACC did, but I mean, the SEC just has the best teams right now. They've got the best teams. They deserve to have 5 teams in this year. The same way the Big Ten deserved to have 4 teams.
What do you mean best teams? Who have they played out of conference to support that, Moan? Just because they're the SEC?
Texas A&M has played Notre Dame. Georgia's played people. Alabama's played Florida State and Oklahoma. Those are their 2 losses. Ole Miss.
Florida State's not good, Moan.
Well,
Florida
they were good enough to
Ole Miss played Washington State.
Listen, why does Alabama deserve to be in the playoff?
Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
No, Ole Miss played Washington State. They did not play anybody else.
The last time
They
I
play-
checked, JMU was favored by 2 touchdowns versus Washington State, right? Isn't that what we just talked about 10, 15 minutes ago? Give me a break. Some of these teams, give me a freaking break, dude. No,
They play in
they're
the
not as
SEC.
good as we talk about.
I think they're better. I do. I think
Really?
the SEC deserves 5 this year.
No.
And I think the Big 10's going to get 3, and I think the Big 12's going to get 1. The ACC is going to get 1. Notre Dame's going to take one of those slots because they're Notre Dame, and you're just going to have to accept that. That's the way Notre Dame has done it. And if you want to blame anybody, you can blame the ACC for allowing that. If the ACC wants to complain that they can't get Miami in, even though Miami beat Notre Dame, that's the ACC's fault. And you're going to get one G6 team in. And this goes back to the automatic qualifier system that nobody wants.
Well, that's not true. I want it.
Well, you want it, but Brett Yormark doesn't. Brett Yormark wants it on the field. Guess what's going to happen on the field? You're going to get one bid in.
That's what we've been saying. You and I have been saying that. We have been fighting for it.
I understand that, but that's not what your commissioner said.
Yeah,
your commissioner came out and fought virulently against it. He said, I don't want that. We want to earn it on the field. The ACC said, we want to earn it on the field. Okay, well, you guys are going to earn one spot on the field.
When BYU 11-2, when BYU 11-2 after a close loss to Texas Tech, and that's not a foregone conclusion, but let's assume that happened. BYU gets left out after barely losing to Texas Tech in a championship game, and they're now 11-2, but their only losses are to the 4th or 5th best team in the country, and they're left out. It's too late. It's already too late to be fighting for this. Miami started 2 weeks ago. Everybody started fighting for Miami. If Brett Yormark went out, they had College Game Day 2 weeks ago in Lubbock, and he didn't show up and stand on a podium and say, we need 3 teams in. I haven't heard that he's traveling to Nippert Stadium and he's going to be saying, we need 2 teams in. He's not doing anything. He's literally being passive, rolling over. It's embarrassing. And you know how bad it is? You know it's bad when even BYU fans turn on him, because they were all the ones that backed him up when he said, I want 5-7. I want to earn it on the field. And that ended up being a bunch of garbage, which is what you and I both said at the time and long before. So this is very, very frustrating for people that are in the conference, and everybody's starting to notice. Unfortunately, I noticed it last year. You noticed it last year, and it didn't do any good last year either.
Yeah, but I can't help but take some enjoyment in the Schadenfreude of the fact
I'm sure you would, yeah.
Or for what?
Yormark and Jim Phillips backed Greg Sankey.
Yes.
They were cheering for Greg Sankey and Greg Sankey's vision of the playoffs.
Yes.
Greg Sankey's getting 5 teams in. They're getting 1.
Yep. Moen, I'm reading your mind. You're right. That's exactly right. He's right.
And the Big Ten's getting 3.
It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Notre Dame's taking that extra spot every time, and they want to stay at 12 teams. That's the other thing. Why aren't they out fighting on the stump for 16 teams?
You're 100% right. We've had this conversation in the offseason. It's just exactly like we said. It's exactly like we said.
It is.
Earn it on the field means getting left out because you don't have the exposure of the SEC teams. And you want evidence of that? Check this out, guys. So ESPN this week, we know every week that Fox or ESPN has opportunities to grab the games they want in premier time spots, right?
Yes.
ESPN, check this out, guys. ESPN, the number 1 selection for the Big 12 this week, the number 1, they take Utah, K-State, and they stick it on ESPN2 behind Vanderbilt, Kentucky. They had a number 1, and then we can't even get on Fox because they stick it on ESPN to stick this up there. You know what? Screw ESPN.
That's crap.
They screw us so much, man. They're basically trying to nuke this.
Yes.
Seriously, Mo, they stick us on ESPN2 for Kentucky when Utah's trying to get in the playoff and no one can watch it, man. Like, that's bull freaking crap. When Fox would put them at prime time or whenever and put you on broadcast TV, not ESPN2, they screw the Big 12 every time, man. It's a rigged system. It's bull crap. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it.
I agree with you. It's a rigged system. And if you go out there and stump for 16, the SEC would have 9 teams in the college football playoff, and the Big 12 would still have 1, and Brett Yormark still wouldn't fight for them.
No.
He wanted to be friends with Greg Sankey. He wanted to be buddies with Greg Sankey. Hey, you're buddies with Greg Sankey, and this is what you get.
It's true. It's absolutely true. I neglected, by the way, at the beginning of the show to set our overtime goal, Moen. What was our overtime goal for tonight?
No overtime goal for me tonight because I got to
Okay.
get up early and
Okay,
travel
for the
to
game?
Cincinnati.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm glad we declared that. I just didn't want to set unreal expectations. Okay, so you then, I guess, you last word. I know you got to go. Family's way more important than this thing, but tell everybody
Just some
kind of what you're
comments
thinking for
first.
this weekend.
Yeah. Let's get to some comments first, and then
Sure, go ahead and read them. Go ahead, you can do it.
yeah, let's see that. Have you guys been flagging some comments over here?
Yeah, I've got a bunch in there. Yeah.
Yeah, let's start reading them off and everything.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, here we go. Stormy Cyclone, first, last, and always. Like
Stormy,
freaking Iowa State Cyclone.
Let's go.
You know what? Check this out. So Iowa State, so Utah's playing at Iowa State next year. I might actually go to the game at their name. So I was looking at that.
I heard a lot of good things. I heard a lot of good things about that game.
Seriously. All right, Stephen Vitt. What's up, Stephen? Stephen and I had a interview discussion yesterday, and stuff's going to come out on his channel over there soon here.
Stephen does a great job.
He does. Yeah, he absolutely does.
Yeah, he's prepared.
If the final week of the CFP selection process played out like a movie, it would win the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Picture.
And
Moan, what do you think about
your
that?
mark would show up to accept it. So there you go.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Yeah. All right, keep going, you.
All right, we go. Mr. Gygax says, no one in Mountaineer circles are worried what the turkeys. Turkeys? Is that what?
Turkeys?
That's what a
Is that
Hokie
Iowa
is.
State?
No,
Hokies.
Hokies.
Oh, the Hokies.
Hokies a turkey?
It's
I
a
didn't
turkey.
know that.
Like
I didn't know that.
thing, right?
Okay.
Have planned. They are too scared to play West Virginia again and take another loss. And they did take a loss this year, didn't they? Well, that was Pitt, actually, right? Pitt. All right, gentlemen. Well, it's time for Wild Ute to bounce.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You got to go already?
Gotta go.
You were doing
Yep.
comments. And so, okay, Moen and I can pick that up. I appreciate it. You want to sign your way out here, brother?
We'll see what happens. I hope Utah blows out K-State. I do love my Cats, but you know what? It's basically needed for the Big 12 and the Utes this week. Moen, have a good day at the ballpark, and we'll see how it all goes out.
All right. I will
All right,
be
so
there
guys.
rooting
Good to
against
see you.
BYU, so you'll be there with me in spirit.
Oh, Moen, you just have to dig at me, don't you? Stephen Vitt, earlier in the show, we're just going to take these comments as we've read them. I apologize for not getting to them earlier, but we knew we needed to get Ute out of here, so now we're doing them right now. Stephen Vitt says, in the final week of the CFP selection process, played out like a movie, it would win the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Picture. Moen?
Yeah, we already read that one.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry, I missed it. How about this one? You did that
We
one
read
too?
that one too.
You guys didn't. You didn't mark off the stars. Oh,
you
okay.
read it. You unstarred.
Yeah, but I wasn't listening to him. Stormy Cyclone. Another comment says the other guy, Gaxlall. I always wondered why they don't play each other. So there you go. Let's see here. Right here, Steve Moser in the house. His name's now Steve Moserfi. Good to have you here, Steve. My favorite Blizzard flavor is Snickers. I never order pickles, and Dick sounds yucky tasting. What's that?
Yeah.
Is that an inside joke?
That's a joke about Jordan Acker. If you go back to the
okay.
very beginning, it's a callback.
Okay.
Very good callback, Steve Moserfi.
Okay. Excellent. Good to see you, Steve. Appreciate it. BYU football in the house. Good to have you here, man. I guess that's Sean, right? I believe that's a picture of Sean. You're wrong, Moen, he says. This was a long time ago.
Right.
So
You're
it could
wrong
have been
because
about
it's
anything.
YOU''RE. So take that, Sean.
You've come here for the anyways. Kenneth Maynard checking in for the Eastern Carolina Pirates and a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Thank you so much, Kenneth. JMU needs to beat Washington State by over 49 to impress, since North Texas beat them 59-10. This whole North Texas, Memphis, Tulane, James Madison argument, Moen, where do you come down on that? There's a lot of teams there that could end up 12-1.
Yeah, I do. I still think JMU ends up in that spot. And I think, and I hate to say it because it does not come down to merit. It comes down to the fact that the JMU coach is named in a bunch of coaching searches. And I think that brings more exposure to JMU than any of the other G6 programs.
Okay.
And I think that's probably why they're going to get in. But let me play this for Kenneth Maynor. We don't do this one enough.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
I love it. You're right. I don't think I've ever heard that. Marcus Williams in the house. There you go, Mo, and I'll let you read that one.
And I will let you not read that one.
Go Blue is what Marcus is saying. Good to have you here, Marcus. And thanks for holding out on that Big Ten deal. I think it was a bad deal, and you did the right thing.
No, Marcus was for the deal, by the way.
But that may be true. I'm not, though. I'm saying I'm not for the deal. Greg's Disney Adventures. That would be Expedition Greg is in the house.
Yeah.
What's going on with all the names?
YouTube does this shit every 2 weeks. I don't get it. Guys,
Okay,
I'm sorry. This is a YouTube thing.
Okay, I was going to say, I recognize you guys' pictures, so you can tell I'm reading something. He says, hey, everyone, anyway. Good to have you here.
Greg.
Conundrum, speaking about the playoff, 442211 is looking pretty good tonight, huh? I wanted it. You wanted it. So, I know Moen wanted it. So, at the end of the day, this earning on the field crap was going to, we warned everybody it was going to bite the Big 12. Nobody listened to us. We were fighting upstream all offseason. We were citizen number one for several social media accounts around the Big 12, and even the ACC, saying that we were absolutely wrong. We didn't know what we were talking about, blah, 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 blah. I don't generally do the bookmarks thing where I'll go back and call them up for people, but receipts are going to be a bitch this offseason. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh, you bet they are.
Everybody that's talking about 511 is going to hear back about 4422. I promise you.
We got a $10 super chat from Steve Moserfry. Good show, guys. I need to leave a little early. May all your teams win tomorrow except for Stormy Cyclone. KU needs to win bad. Let's give them a little Kansas sounder here.
Let's go. Give them. We appreciate you, Steven. All right. There you go. $10 super chat.
Thank you for the super chat, Steve. We do appreciate it.
We
and
do.
Thanks for coming in here and dropping funny lines from time to time.
And on top of that, Stormy Cyclone comes in off the top rope with another $5 super chat. And both of them value members, the College Football Mafia family, saying, with everything being so high priced these days, this money seems to be the money I enjoy spending. Thank you, Stormy.
I appreciate that. And Stormy,
yeah, I do
since you bring that up, let me make a statement here. Deodorant and antiperspirant are not optional, people. When you go to the grocery store, if you stink like BO, that's a problem on you. And if I tell you stink, that's still a problem on you.
Did you have a bad experience this week or something?
Today,
okay.
And there was a lady in there that, could have knocked a buzzard off a shit wagon. So,
yeah. Okay.
Not optional, guys. Deodorant and antiperspirant are required before you go out in public. Here's a little Iowa State fight song for you.
Yeah, go ahead. You get it. Excellent. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, Stormy. We appreciate you, brother. Go Ohio State. Stephen Moser earlier said BYU Cincinnati line looks like one of those Vegas trick lines. Be careful. Look, I will just tell you this. If you're banking against BYU, you're going against the spread, or not against the spread, but against BYU to beat the spread, you've lost your money already. BYU's beat the spread. How many games have they played? This will be the game 11. They beat the spread all but 2 of them. So, and some of those spreads were big spreads. So, yeah, go ahead and I want everybody to vote against BYU because as long as you keep doing that, we're winning games. That's all I can say. Good to have you, Stephen. Anyway, appreciate you popping your head in. I'll get to a couple more comments here, people that I didn't flag earlier. How about this one, Moen, sorry. BWG, 5 straight in the big house. Moen?
I don't know, but that dude's a snappy dresser. Look at that. Yeah, you've won 5 straight in the big house, but tomorrow you are playing at Maryland. So we will make sure that you stop at 5 straight in the big house. So
is that this year, or is he talking about in general?
No, they've won 5 straight games at home.
Okay. I didn't know
at
that.
home just
Okay.
this season.
Okay. All right.
No,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they've won 5 straight at home. It's on the road. They're a different team, though. They're just completely. I don't know, but
Okay.
yeah, snappy dresser.
All right. Tim Bruckmiller in the house. Good to have you here, Tim. If you're new to the channel, and you may not be, but I can't see your other alias.
This is, I believe, the Big Lubbock.
Oh, Big Lubbock. Excellent. Good to have you here, Lubbock. And UCLA to beat USC next week. No.
I'm sorry. I don't think that's
I don't think
happen.
so. I wish it happened. I want it to happen, but I don't think it will. Again, Tim says Big 12 needs Mizzou and USC to win this week. Then Big 12 needs MSU. Is that Michigan State, Washington, Ohio State, Auburn, and A&M, Tennessee, and Georgia Tech to win.
I think that's Mississippi State he's talking about against Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Mississippi State, Washington, Ohio State, Auburn, A&M, Tennessee, and Georgia Tech to win. That's next week for the Big 12. That sounds good to me. I would love for all those teams to lose. I don't know that it's very reasonable that they will, but yeah, we will find out. Kenneth Maynard says, so is John Summerall leaving Tulane? I have to imagine he's going somewhere. What do you think about that, Moen?
I think you're right. John Summerall is getting a lot of exposure for Tulane. He's named in a lot of the coaching searches, but the guy from ECU is named in so many, or not ECU, JMU is named in so many. But yeah, John Summerall, possibility that could push Tulane over the line, and Tulane gets that G6 spot in the playoff. But I'm sure if you asked any Big 12 or ACC fans right now, they'd be saying that the G6 doesn't deserve a spot in the playoff.
Yeah, I haven't said that yet. I don't want to. I'm going to wait till the end of the season. But it's one of those situations where if the facts lead us where the story goes, there's not much I can do about that after. So I'll talk about the G6 spot in this offseason. I'm not doing it during the season right now. Dave's here in the house. Good to have you here, Dave. Appreciate you. He says better four teams from a tournament of 4 teams from each A4 conference. Moen.
If you're going to 16 teams, I don't have an issue with that, but the SEC does. They would never allow that. The SEC would block that, and Brett Yormark would probably agree with them for blocking that and say, we'd rather have it on the field and only get 2 teams in.
Jeez, that is just brutal. I'm not going to do that again. Okay, Moen, it's time to talk UC investments, Big 10. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. I'm going to tee you up here. So you're an Ohio State fan, arguably one of the top 3 brands in all of almost sports. You could argue Ohio State's up there big enough. You have been a supporter of the UC investments plan for the Big 12. The Ohio State not for the Big 12, for the Big 10. Ohio State's lended their name and reputation to being a proponent of this deal. Wheels have started to come off. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. Where does the Big 10 go from here? And you feel free to share the stuff you've talked with Greg and anything else you want to bring up at this time.
Well, I want to keep that Trojan information for that members video.
Okay.
I might shoot that in the morning and get that uploaded before we leave. But listen, I don't know how this becomes a civil war when 2 teams when actually at one point 17 teams were on board. It was 17 teams and Jordan Acker against.
Right.
And then Jordan Acker got his opportunity to put other Board of Regents members against it, and got his opportunity to drive a schism in between USC and the rest of the Big Ten. So I don't think it's really a civil war. I just think it's a leadership issue at Michigan. They don't have a president yet. They have an interim president, and the inmates are running the asylum up there. The Board of Regents is up there running the asylum, and I asked Greg earlier this week, I said, do you think Jordan Acker just wants to be the permanent president at Michigan, and that's why he's doing all this? Because I'm starting to get the feeling that that's what he wants, is that Jordan Acker,
he's right now on the board.
He's on the Board of Regents, and it's
He's on the board,
it's an
right.
elected position in the state of
Okay.
Michigan. But
Okay.
I think, he is a very political creature. You've got the U.S. Senate and the Michigan governor's race up for grabs this year, or not this year, next year. He hasn't committed to either one of those, but he could throw his hat in that arena. He could be using this to boost his profile in that regard. But if he's not, they still haven't named a permanent president there. And I'm wondering if Jordan Acker isn't trying to say, hey, look at what I did. I saved the Big Ten from this. And he's making up a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry, Jordan, but you're just straight up speaking bullshit, calling it a payday loan and all, and every derogatory thing he can think of. He is mischaracterizing this deal. And I think
he's misidentified it over and over again. He keeps calling it an equity deal. He keeps saying this stupid thing out loud all the time. It's like, you don't even know what the deal is, the type of deal it is, and now all of a sudden you're against it all the time. I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah,
it's typical political bullshit.
Right.
If anybody knows, politics is Greek. Poly for many, ticks, blood-sucking parasites. And that's what Jordan Acker is. He's a blood-sucking parasite who wants to get himself in there, grandstand, potentially raise his profile for a U.S. Senate run, governor run, make me the president of the University of Michigan. Obviously, this is something that the alumni and fans of Michigan need to get a hold of. I've spoken to several Michigan fans who are for the deal. Marcus Williams, one of them right here, is for the deal. Lots of Michigan fans were for the deal. It was the Board of Regents, and in particular, one boisterous, loud Board of Regents guy named Jordan Acker who was against it. So I gotta believe, I think the deal gets done at some point. But what that deal is, I don't know now.
I think that's fair. I think we just need to keep and remember that these are human beings too. And they do have their own personal wants and needs. It's not all altruistic. So Marcus, he's got a good comment here. He says, yeah, we don't have a president yet, and Jordan Acker is grandstanding for his own self-interest. Look, that may be the case, but this is a deal that it extends the Gore another 10 years. And that's where if I was on the line at USC and somebody came to me and said, why aren't you guys supporting this? The very first thing I say is, we're not in tier 1 and we should be in tier 1. And I think they should be. But then you have to look at, they don't want to, USC is a new kid on the block. They don't necessarily have the dedication to the Big Ten like everybody else does. Them going independent isn't a crazy idea. Michigan go independent, that's a more shocking idea. But USC, they're out for their own self-interest just like everybody else.
Listen,
and I could see them not wanting to sign the 10-year additional Gore.
If you're making the argument that you want to be risk averse, that you can't sign this deal because of risk aversion, there is no way you can legitimately claim that you can go independent, because it is a far more riskier situation to go independent.
Not really. It ties you down. How's it risky? It actually locks you up for an extra 10 years.
If you're going to say that's risk, if you're saying we're avoiding that because that's risk aversion, it's far more risky to go independent. It's far more risky to go independent.
Not for USC.
I think so. I think so.
A blue blood program.
USC hasn't won anything for 20 years, though. They're not
gravitas. Moan, it's gravitas.
That'd be like saying Nebraska can go independent.
I think with Nebraska has enough money to go independent, and them getting a schedule together would not be difficult either. I think any of the blue blood schools, and then add another 5 to 8, you could easily go independent right now, and you'd be able to schedule everybody else, and you'd be doing just
It's not
fine.
about
I think you'd
scheduling.
be
It's
doing
about
better.
money. It's about money. You're not going to make the same amount of money.
They
You're
will
not.
get paid bank. I think they would.
They would not
I
look
think they would.
at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a bigger brand than USC, and
They
Notre Dame
are.
makes less money
Yeah.
than the Big Ten.
But Notre Dame
So-
doesn't necessarily want the money, Moen. They want the access for the playoff. They have an individual access nobody else can get. So
And
for
then if
them, they
USC
can
was
make a smaller
independent-
amount of money, but they're in the playoff every year, and they get a giant $40 million check to just be in the CFP every year, and it's almost a given now. So you
And
said they
that's
don't
still
make
that
as much
$40
money.
million.
I think they do make more money right
They
now.
don't. They don't.
Last
Look
year
at
they
the
made more
figures.
money than most of the other schools in the Big
That
Ten.
was last year when they were making a $40 million check. That's not the same. That number went down this year.
Yeah, I think it's still like 24 million.
It still
I mean,
goes
it's not
down, but
small.
they're not making the same amount of money as teams in the Big Ten Conference. They're not going to be making the same amount of money as the next Big Ten media deal.
It's not a competition to make more money. It's a competition to win a national championship.
And how do you win a national championship, Bomber? More money.
No, you get it by having a shortcut to the playoff. That's how you get it. You get it by playing one less game every year.
Notre Dame's not winning a national championship, no matter how many.
They made it to the championship game last week, Moen. Yeah, I think you're blind a little bit to how good the Big Ten is.
They've made it to the championship game 3 times since 1986 now, and they've lost every time.
But it doesn't matter because they get there. They don't have to have competition. They play an extra less game every year. They have a shortcut into the top 4. They can do all kinds of stuff that nobody else has access to because they don't have the same voting control in the CFP, and they don't have the same access. I'm saying if Michigan went independent, if USC went independent, they would be able to negotiate the same access that Notre Dame has.
You're right. They would all have to fight for that same spot.
Well, now at that point, they can go to any of the at-large spots, though. It's not just one. They can compete for any at-large spot. You're only talking about getting the extra game for the bye. But they're already getting a bye during the season because they don't have to play a championship game. So they don't need that bye.
Right. You're going to completely change the mechanics of the college football playoff by adding 3 independents in there of the status of Michigan, USC, and Notre Dame.
If Michigan,
they're
USC, and Notre Dame,
they're not just going to give them an at-large.
Let me fit. Yeah, they will. They absolutely will. What's to stop them from giving them at-large bid?
The Big Ten's voting.
No, it won't. The Big Ten can't screen them out.
Yes, they can. The Big Ten absolutely.
If they cut off those 2 schools out,
and if
then
you
they
think
cut
the
off from the
SEC
rest of the
won't
school
screen them
twos.
out, the Big Ten and the SEC would both.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can. I think they have too much political leverage to do that. I don't think so.
Yeah,
but
I don't
at the end of the day, we're arguing about something that wouldn't come up for 5 years anyway. Say they leave in 2036. They have 10 years till 2036 to plan and make a move to leave their conferences. Whatever
they
that
don't
may
even
be.
need to wait. They don't even need to wait 10 years.
I'm talking about the schools, not the.
I know.
Not the
CFP. I understand. They've got the endowments. They could just pay the Big Ten off.
Absolutely, they could. I don't think they will.
They will. They won't because they don't really want to leave.
I think how much of this you're thinking practically, and how much of this you're speaking Big Ten homer and Ohio State protecting your political.
Practically that it's not. You're acting like, oh, you can just go independent, Michigan, and you're going to be making way more money than you would with the Big Ten. That's not the case.
I didn't say any about money.
I
didn't bring up money. You brought up money.
You're going to get guaranteed access to the college football playoff, although that's not been decided.
As an independent, they qualify for the playoff just like everybody else. And as an independent, they can be the second team in. They can be nobody's stopping UConn being the other undefeated right behind Notre Dame this year. They could do that. Being an independent means you have your own league to be in.
That's
I
right.
think
And that's
you
with,
don't. I
right
don't
now,
think you're
that's with
looking at it
2
right.
independents, with one of them
But
being UConn, one of them
but
being Notre Dame.
UConn's
If you
bad
add
though.
if you add 4 independent, UConn's going to join the conference. So if you add 3 independents that
Okay.
are all blue bloods, you think the SEC and the Big Ten are going to say, please take these at-large spots?
I don't think they have a choice, Moen. I don't think
I
that's
think
going to
they
be up
do.
to them.
I
No,
think they do. At
There's-
that point, they would just say,
you're
hey, you
the
know
way
what?
you're
The
looking
Big
at it.
Ten and the SEC are doing their own playoffs.
Okay. See now, and then you just broke the wheel. To get
They
what you
broke the
want
wheel.
now, you just broke the wheel. So no. Let's back up. So no longer are you Ohio State Big Ten homer to get to the playoff. Now you're saying just do anything you can to keep those schools out for pissing you off right now. You're going to come up with
It
your
has
own
nothing to
league,
do
and
with
you're not going to include them. That's exactly
No,
what
it
you just
has
said.
to do with those schools saying that we get to be above and beyond. Notre Dame
But they are
negotiated
already.
it in. Notre Dame grandfathered themselves in. Michigan
Wait a
and
second.
USC are trying to not grandfather themselves in. They're
You're-
trying
we
to
need-
do it actively to get the benefits that Notre Dame has.
Hang on a second. We're talking about 2 separate things. Notre Dame right now has special voting access to the CFP and
Yes,
control.
they are
That is
grandfathered in.
that has nothing to do with being an at-large bid as an independent and getting into the tournament, because BYU was able to be qualified for that every year and couldn't win enough games. So they are not going to be able to keep them out of a playoff. You're only talking about Notre Dame's special access to the voting and the additional money. But they can be, as an independent school, if they're an FBS school right today, if they were an FBS school right now, they could qualify for the playoff if their ranking deserves it. And Notre
Again.
Dame, and those are only 2 schools, Ohio State, Michigan. I think Penn State might go. And then you're talking about an SEC that would be on panic mode. And Georgia could go independent. Next thing you know, now all those guys could get into a league with 10 schools. And if Ohio State has an invite at 9, don't you think that they would want to be in that league? Or are they going to want to continue to lead a rump Big Ten at that point?
I think they would
I think
rather
Ohio
stay in the
State
Big
would
Ten
jump.
at this point. No, they wouldn't. I can tell you they wouldn't. They were the ones who were willing to go to 2046. They were the ones
that's
willing to
great
take less
because
money to go to 2046.
That's assuming Michigan and USC are in that league. They're
I
willing to
still think they
sign
would
that
go to-
if they're in it.
They already agreed to sign it. There was 16 teams. It was UC that paused
But
it.
that's what I'm saying. UC doesn't want only that many. Oh,
Right, UC
Ohio
paused it.
State can say whatever they want because
UC
they weren't
paused
going to
it
get
because
the
of the
league.
public relations disaster that was happening around it.
And all that
Because
may be true,
Michigan's
but
Jordan Acker was going out there and actively putting out misinformation and
No, and
propaganda.
I don't disagree. Everything you're saying is right. I don't disagree with any of that. I am literally saying the independent path for these schools could be break the wheel time for them to go through, and they could be on their own level to get to the CFP. Tomorrow they could do that. They could vote to
They
leave
could do that.
and pay the money in the Big Ten right now and go independent and get into the playoff the very
But
next year.
tomorrow,
That absolutely could
the
happen.
Big Ten and the SEC could change the playoff format
To what?
to whatever they want.
You see an American football, college American football, any league voting to keep out Michigan and and USC as independents? I do not see any
I don't think
world
they
where
would just
that
be
happens.
keeping out Michigan and USC. I think Notre Dame, the Big Ten, and the SEC would all be against a independent Michigan and USC.
I don't know. You can't stop them. It's a free country. That's not an argument.
You're right. You can't stop them. You would just create your own playoff system.
I don't
and
think they would
say,
do that. I don't think they would do that.
I think they probably would.
No. Give me a financial reason why they'd want to walk away from 2 of the biggest 8 brands in all of college football. Michigan, arguably number 1. Why would they want? That's money. They want money.
Texas and Ohio State are number 1 and number 2. You can make the argument every year. Texas and Ohio State are number 1 and number 2.
Okay, fine. They're number 3.
They're number 3.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
But you
The point
don't
is
need-
they're blue bloods you're not going to keep
But
out.
you can be number 3 in the Big Ten. You can be number 4 in the Big Ten, or you can be number 3 and number 4 independent.
Why would they want to when they could be independent and number 1 in their own
Because
world
they're
and
not
mind?
going to make as much money. I know you think
Again,
that they're
now you
but they're
circle
not.
back to money.
Yes.
We
The
need to
world
ask Bob.
operates on
Look,
money.
at the end of the day, I don't think the money is the thing. I don't think the money is the thing for Notre Dame. It has to do with access, has to do with their voting block, not having to play a 13th game. And I think this has much bigger ramifications than just the Big Ten trying to get money out of their conference. And I think you're looking at it just maybe a little too rosy, because you have a school that you're going to support and a conference you care about passionately. And I'm not sure you're seeing all the way through it, because at the end of the day, college football wants the best brands they can do it.
I think it's the opposite. I think there's a lot of people who view the Big Ten as the evil empire. And because of that, they're willing, and I'm not saying you or you, I'm saying they're willing to go out there on Twitter, push this misinformation, create this narrative that there's a civil war within the Big Ten.
You're still talking about this deal, though, and I've sort of gone past the deal.
Okay, well, this deal is part of it, because this is how you're premeditating going independent based because of this deal.
Okay, fine. If that's the reason, okay, let's play that storyline out. If that's the case, if that is the reason and why they leave is because they just don't want to be in this league, it would shock me to no end to say that any of the rest of the people in college football would say, we're going to have our tournament and we're going to actively keep out the access that USC and Michigan have.
I don't think they're going to actively keep them out, but I think you're going to actively get a situation where it's going to be, if you're independent, you get one slot. There's one slot available for the independents.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. What would be the reason? CFP with
no conference championship game.
No, well, Notre Dame already has that, and they've got
That's right. That's what you would get limited to one slot.
Michigan,
independent.
Michigan, and yeah, okay. Right now, it's 136 schools that, under the right conditions, any of those schools could be in the CFP, and that has nothing to do with whether you're in a conference or if you're independent. And a CFP that has USC and Michigan is going to be worth a ton more money than a CFP that doesn't have those two brands.
Well, one, you're going to have to act as if USC and Michigan can be competitive in the CFP anyway.
Oh, I don't even think that's a question.
Well, I don't. USC hasn't been competitive since early 2000s. So
yeah, but you could easily point to their coaching for the last decade and a half to point to the reason why that's the case. It's not that they're not recruiting at a high clip. They're always top 10, if not top 5 in their recruiting. It's not been a recruiting problem at USC. It's not been recruiting. It's been coaching.
It's been leadership.
Oh, okay. Leadership and coaching, to me, all of that goes together. It's all sort of one basket. At the end of the day, the school it could run as an island.
Right. I'm just saying that it's being put out here. You're saying I'm coming from the rosy side. I'm coming from the anti-rosy side, where I'm saying there are people out there who are purposely putting this out here because they don't like the Big Ten. They don't like the Big Ten because of what they did to the Pac-12.
Okay.
And you know who did that to the Pac-12? Wasn't the Big Ten. It was
the
USC.
Pac-12 did it to the Pac-12. It was the Pac-12 doing it to the Pac-12.
They
killed themselves.
Did it, and guess what? The Big 12 did it too. You wouldn't have Utah, Colorado, Arizona State in the Big 12 if the Big 10 hadn't done what it had done.
I think maybe I need to take a step back. I don't think you are elucidating. You seem to be really caught up on the world against the Big Ten. I want to give you time to talk about that, because that is not something that I certainly believe, and I'm not seeing it that way on this side of the fence.
Oh, are you?
So why don't you tell everybody why you are as passionate about this right now? Because I think your opinion matters, and people need to pay attention to it.
I think I'm passionate about it because I look at the college football reporting. The college football reporting has had an anti-Big Ten bend the entire season. It's been anti-Big Ten since the Pac-12 died.
Okay.
You know, look at the reporters.
Yeah, I believe you.
It's been anti-Big Ten. And I think there's a lot of bad actors out there that are willing to push misinformation or, you know, other situations. It's the same thing when the Big Ten said, hey, let's have AQs. How dare the Big Ten say we have AQs? Well, look at it this way, guys. The Big 12 and the ACC are about to have one bid in this year's college football playoff when they could have two guaranteed, and there's still at-large bids in that model.
So you think this all rotates back to the original sin of the 4-4-2-2 from the summer?
I think this rotates back to just anger at the Big Ten. And you can take this all the way back to The formation of the alliance.
Okay.
You can take
Yeah,
this back
that
to
was fun.
the USC, UCLA leaving for the Big Ten.
Okay.
You can take this to Colorado leaving for the Big 12, caused by the Big Ten. The Big Ten got blamed for that. Arizona State, Utah joining the Big 12, Oregon, Washington joining the Big 10, Stanford and Cal not having anywhere to go, Stanford and Cal joining the ACC at the behest.
Why did the Big 12 just take a stray? Why we're talking
Well,
about
they
the Big
did,
10. We're
because
not
they
talking
took-
about the Big 12.
But they took Colorado.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about the Big 10. Why are you talking about schools that didn't go to the Big 10?
We are. We're
Okay.
talking about, but listen, the Big 10 got blamed for Colorado jumping to the Big 12.
Okay.
We caught a stray for
Thank you
that.
for tying that. Okay.
We
I
caught a
understand
stray
now.
for that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We
Okay.
caught strays for that. There's a lot of things that we caught strays for.
Okay.
And I just mean it's just a bias against the Big Ten. And I feel like looking at the reporting, it's very accurate. ESPN is very much against the Big Ten. Every one of these journalists on Twitter and X who want to work for ESPN are against Big Ten.
Okay.
And I think that there's just an overwhelming degree of hate towards the Big Ten and blame towards the Big Ten. And Big Ten is ruining college football. The Big Ten's not ruining college football alone, guys.
Yeah,
the SEC's helping us out. The ACC's helping us out. Notre Dame's helping us out. The Big 12's helping us out. We're all ruining college football. If you consider it ruining college football, I'm a firm believer in evolution. I believe this is natural evolution. We've had a swing to amateurism for far too long. Now we've got to swing to professionalism before we wind up in the middle.
Okay.
But I think there's bias against the Big Ten. There is.
So
I think it's overwhelming bias by college football fans, college football writers. I just do. I see, I see it for what it is.
Let me ask you this. If the CFP stays anywhere close to a format that we've currently got, and it goes to 16, and let's say it went to 3-3, 2-2, 1-4-7, something like that, but it's still the CFP as it's organized. If you heard, and I'm not saying that it had happened already, but if you heard there was smoke in the air, I'm talking like genuine conversations where Florida State, Miami, Michigan, USC, Nebraska, maybe a Colorado from the side, Clemson had decided to put their own little 10-team super league together. Would Ohio State be happy staying in the Big Ten? Or would they want to go play big boy football?
I think they would,
which is essentially what that other conference would be.
I think this is going to surprise you, and it's going to be from just, again, you should obviously understand this, people not understanding or relating due to things. But I think Ohio State's loyal to the Big Ten. I think Ohio State would stick it out with the Big Ten. They would rather be a big fish in a little pond. They've got developed relationships with a lot of these people over the years. Not like Nebraska's a newbie. Sure, Rutgers, Maryland are newbies. But, I mean, teams like Indiana, Northwestern, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Purdue, Minnesota. I think that they would value those relationships more than going to that conference. But, I mean, obviously,
something you've always valued: relationships, character, leadership. Those are things you've always leaned on. So.
But obviously, as a BYU fan, you can understand biases.
Of course, yeah.
You know the reason that BYU is not. BYU is the first one out.
Yes.
There are direct biases that still exist, unfortunately, and I think that there's a bias towards the Big Ten. I think there's biases towards BYU. There's biases towards Notre Dame for stupid reasons, all for dumb reasons. But
that's true.
It is, bias exists, and I believe bias is out there, and I believe there's a large amount of bias towards the Big Ten.
Husker Magic a little bit earlier. So if you're still Husker, I appreciate you sticking around with us tonight. I'd like Nathan's hypothetical League of Independence. I appreciate you putting that context for the conversation, Husker Magic. I do believe where there's smoke, there's fire, and I don't think the independent thing's going away anytime soon. And then Chris G, who's late to the show, and earlier he asked a question. Have we been talking about this the whole time? No, of course not. It's Big Freaking Friday.
Oh,
we led with our
sorry,
picks.
Chris
We've
G.
talked news. Yeah, what? What did I miss?
Chris G from Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Didn't Virginia Tech used to be in the Big East? Didn't?
You're reading his comment. I hadn't even read it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, we're all ruining it, Chris. You guys helped destroy the Big East.
Okay.
So don't act like, hey, we're all innocent. No, your birth certificate is proof of guilt. I'm sorry. It is.
Okay. I was just going to read it really quick. We're all ruining. Sorry. No, Moen. Last time I checked, it was only the big who is trying right now to get billions to take over college football through realignment. I'm just going to say this, Chris, and then I'll go back to Moen. The realignment thing, I think, is I think that it's absolutely just smoke, because at the end of the day, I don't think the Big Ten uses any money for realignment, and I think they just invested into their own schools. And I think there's a very good chance that any of this money that could possibly be coming to the Big Ten, it does not go anywhere. It stays right where it's at, and they take on 2 new schools. Who those schools are, 2 new schools plus Notre Dame, I think would always have that open invite. And they set at 20. I don't think it's going to 24. And these madcap ideas about a super league of only 2 conferences with 24 teams, I don't think that's a thing. And I know a lot of people disagree with me, but just saying the money's going to go for realignment, I think that's a ghost somewhere out there, elusive.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Conference realignment did not start with the Big Ten taking USC, UCLA, or with the SEC taking Oklahoma, Texas.
We've never said that.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, we've all ruined college football. The Big East getting gobbled up by the ACC. West Virginia, in a panic, looking for a place to go, had to go to the Big 12, which that was.
I think they're lucky. They're very lucky they got that call.
Daniel Gygax told you, will tell you how lucky they were, because they were looking really shaky for West Virginia. And Virginia Tech was full board to leave them behind to get into the ACC.
And BYU almost had that spot. There's all kinds of stories, but for the reasons Moen was just talking about, they didn't get that invite. But West Virginia was not the first phone call. That's definitely been reported out in the world. Tim Bruckmiller, good to have you here, Tim. Thank you so much. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, KU, K-State, and West Virginia blocked Calford from getting into the Big 12. I will tell you this, BYU, as much as anybody, blocked Calford from getting into the Big 12. But
I've never heard anything about Calford trying to get into the Big 12.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's see here. More comments as we go through here. Moen, I know you need to go. We can cut this off at any time. Just put your hand up.
Let's go for another 15 minutes, guys.
Okay, we'll do it.
Anything that needs to be asked or questioned or pondered or directed towards me, anger towards me, yeah, has to be a super chat. You have to pay me to get angry at me now.
And I'll tell you this: we've got a bunch of marks.
Earl Carr's in the house. He says bomber.
So. Earl,
sure. He gives us a super chat that says, "Let's go Cougars,
beat Cincinnati." Earl, thank you so much, brother. Do you have the BYU fight song yet? Moen, you've got all these other fight songs.
No, I don't. But I got a Cougar tale for you. So,
can you get the BYU fight song for me?
I probably can, as long as it's not copyrighted or anything.
I don't think it is.
Here's a picture of an actual cougar.
High schools around here sing it.
Okay.
Earl Carr, thank you so much, man. It's great to see you.
Carr.
$10 super chat. We really appreciate you. He says, Bomber, let's go Cougars beat Cincinnati. Very, very much. And then here's his long-standing, by the way, Earl has been a member with us for 28 months, everybody. That's more than 2 years. Earl, thank you so much for your loyalty and everything you do for us, and especially V, man. I appreciate you always coming on and making me smile. Gifted 1 college football membership to somebody, Moen. Thank you, Earl.
And
thank you.
Thank you, Earl. We have a new member to the College Football Mafia, thanks to our friend Earl Carr. And that member is Cranky Tiger. Cranky Tiger, make sure
Let's
if you're
go.
in the chat, you thank Earl Carr. If you're watching us on demand, go ahead and drop a comment that says thank you, Earl Carr. I'm sure he will appreciate that. And check out our members only content. We'll be dropping a new video maybe tomorrow morning, maybe Sunday morning, called Trojans Torch the Big Ten.
Our videos are the best on YouTube. You're not going to find better produced videos than what we do around here. So I guarantee if you've been given that membership, take advantage of it. Go on and watch some member videos, and then if you like what you see, become a member. Give somebody else a membership. We really value that stuff. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us, Earl, and good to have you. Who is the member again, Moen?
Cranky Tiger.
Cranky Tiger, thank you so much for being here, Cranky Tiger. Jackson Johnson, where have you been, brother? We've missed you, Jackson.
There you go. There's a thumbnail for tomorrow or Sunday's Moen Confidential for members only. Check it out. You will be very, very surprised at some of the numbers that USC puts forth. So they are definitely great accountants.
I was just going to say, Jackson has a channel on Voice of College Football. I was on Mark Rogers' show Wednesday night, and we were talking about the college football playoff, and it was one of the best conversations I've ever had talking to somebody, because Mark Rogers is one of the smartest sports people you'll ever talk to. But we're going to be doing a special after the regular season ends sometime in December, and it's going to be about the format, everything from start to finish. And I'm really looking forward to doing that with Mark. So I had a lot of fun on his show. I want to thank him for doing that for us very much. We had another super chat, a yellow one, right? Nope, that was Earl's. I think we're all cut. Here we go. This is the one. Kenneth Maynor, the ECU Pirate in the house, also a longstanding member of the College Football Mafia family. Appreciate you, Kenneth. $5 super chat. ECU has played football since 1932, but was an independent from 76 to 96, played Penn State, FSU, Virginia Tech, and others quite a bit when they were all independent. I know we talked about this in passing, Moen and I, going back and forth. They're not going to have any trouble putting a schedule together. BYU struggled to do a schedule, and I think people would understand why. Michigan and USC, Penn State, if they went back independent, would not have any trouble putting a very, very good schedule together. And they could have some high-level collaborations, long-standing 10 and 15-year contracts to play a Notre Dame, to play each other, or maybe some other schools that would go independent at that point. So I know people are kind of making fun of the idea that those schools could go, but they actually absolutely could. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Kenneth. I gave you the pirate sounder already, so I'm going to give you another pirate sounder.
That's right. That's right. We bad. That's right.
There you go. And one more super chat from Earl Carr again, another $5 super chat. Hey, Moen, what are your thoughts on Michigan thinking of leaving the Big Ten if they are forced into the deal?
We talked about this quite a bit, Earl Carr, but I'll just give you a summation. Am I on mute? How am I on mute?
Yeah, no, you were lagged.
Can you hear me now?
For a second. We can, yeah. But it's
okay. I'll give you a quick summation. I think Jordan Acker and certain members of the board didn't want the deal. Ward Manuel, I don't know if you follow Greg Pflugar or not, but he posted an interview that Ward Manuel had this afternoon, the athletic director at Michigan. He very much seems like he was for the deal. So I don't think it's a very serious threat. But regardless, the UC pension board has put it on pause for now until everybody can come to some kind of agreement, whether that's an agreement with the UC pension fund or another company. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12 as well. Private equity, public capital are going to get involved in college athletics.
Tim Bruckmiller again, another great comment. The Big 12 is having a garage sale. Baylor and TCU will be priced to sell. I think you could put, unfortunately, UCF on that for sale list too. Cincinnati played well this year. They've earned some street cred, but boy, some of the Raging Eight, or whatever, the Hateful Eight and the Big 12, they're seeing some dark days right now. They're looking up at a bunch of schools that are new members, and they can't be happy about that.
Absolutely. And by the way, we didn't give a sounder for Earl Carr on that last
Go
one.
ahead. Yeah,
so
please.
let me ask him if he can dig it.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
I love that. A couple more comments and we're going to get out of here. Kenneth Maynor says UConn needs to find a conference to join for football only if they want to stay in the Big East, or for basketball. American or the MAC seem like obvious choices. Would the American Conference would take UConn, wouldn't they, because of their basketball?
I don't know. I think if you're UConn, why? I think you wait until you get your shot at the ACC.
Yeah, that's a good call.
The MAC would make sense, but it would only be temporary. But I mean, UConn would dominate the MAC, as long as Jim Mora remains the coach, because I think Jim Mora has done a fantastic job there at UConn.
He has.
I keep saying that UCLA should hire him back.
Yeah, I don't know. There were some bridges burned there. Up and down the coast, actually. They did the same thing to Washington. So, yeah, I don't know if he'll be welcomed with friendly arms back on the left coast. Let's see here. Les Austin Jr., good to have you here, Les Austin. Detroit versus everybody is what his picture said. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Any new people watching, or if you're watching on X, do us a favor. Jump over on YouTube, put in College Football Mafia. We pop right up and hit that subscribe button. We're pushing towards 6,000 subs. All the help you can give us, we really appreciate. Moen, I think this will be our last comment. Can you explain to everybody why the additional 10 years, in essence, now from today, 20-year gore for the Big Ten would be okay?
One, it adds stability to the conference. It does. It says we're going to be a conference for 20 years. This is different. And I know people, this is another one of these things that people keep pushing out there is this is the ACC deal. No, it's not. The ACC deal was a media deal for 20 years. There is no media deal surrounding the grant of rights. It's simply saying that for the next 18 years, these schools are staying together as a conference. Why is that a good thing? It adds stability to the conference. It gives your conference leverage in negotiating deals. You can get a better media deal if your media partners know, hey, these guys are going to be a conference through 2046.
Yes.
Hey, you can get a better deal going after expansion candidates if they know you're going to be a conference for 20 years. You can go to Georgia Tech and say, hey, look, Georgia Tech, and this may be part why people think the Big Ten's evil, but they can go to Georgia Tech and say, you're a 50% share member. It's easier to do that if Georgia Tech knows that they're going to be there until 2046. It's easier for Miami to take that deal if they know they're going to be there until 2046. It's easier for Notre Dame to take that deal. Notre Dame wouldn't have that deal, obviously, but it's easier for Notre Dame to be more accepting of joining the Big Ten if they know that there's a 20-year grant of rights. So it's leverage, it's stability. That is why they want the 20 years. Also, for Big Ten enterprises, the reason UC Pension Fund wants it for 20 years is they want to maximize their profits. And they want the schools to be able to maximize their profit revenue too.
I love it. I love it. That'll be our final word. That's a good high note to go out on. And Moen, any last words?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
No. Hey, everybody, have a good weekend. Check out.
Definitely.
Check this out when this pops up on the channel, either tomorrow or Sunday. If you're a member, I think you'll find it very interesting. Got some inside information on the Trojans and the Big Ten media deal with the UC Pension Fund and their tier-out process. It's very interesting. Got some very interesting information from a West Coast source, so I think you will definitely want to check that out.
Couple of announcements. I've had it scrolling down on the bottom of the reader. We'll probably keep that up for a couple weeks. Bomber has turned into, on Twitter, Bomber_ Big 12 Mafia. That's not going away. But I did need to start bringing in the brands a little bit more. We're trying to consolidate around here, trying to unify some of our naming, and that's the choice I made to go with ours. So if you see a little different name, nobody stole my account. Everything's fine. It just means I just wanted to get Bomber in there a little bit more prominent. And then what I did is I created another account with Big 12 Mafia. So it's not going anywhere. It just doesn't have any activity. So if you see that, don't be afraid. I'm still here. I just changed it, just a little bit more branding decision. So for Moen and the College Football Mafia family, I am your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. I wish everybody success this weekend, unless you're going to hurt BYU getting to the playoff, and then I'm cheering against you. I'm sorry. So that's pretty much going to be universal the next 2 weeks. So thank you so much for being here, guys. I want to say bye to everybody. Be safe. Hug your family and friends. Send them a note, text, or give them a phone call. They need you. If you're thinking about them, I guarantee they'd love to hear from you. So we will see you later. I want to say peace and go Cougars.